NFL football takes over Spain this week for the first time ever. I assume they won't sing John Denver tunes over there. Maybe they break out into some Rosalia. While they do it, they'll watch a version of the Washington Commanders take on the Miami Dolphins, who roll in off maybe the #1 upset of the 2025 season.
Now, obviously, they got a long way to go, but what a start for Bradley Chubb and the Dolphins.
We've got a Dolphins offense that just rang up 30 points versus a Washington defense that just gave up 44 and has given up 28 plus in 4 straight. It's a team that has lost 4 straight games by 20 or more points.
And Williams is up the sideline, still going, and finally forced out of bounds.
In the most glaring matchup along the ground, the Dolphins offense was fueled by Devon Achane, who erupted for 174 yards, 7.9 a carry, 2 long TDs.
Got room again. See you later. Another touchdown for Achane.
Achane the reason Miami scored 30 or more points for the second time this year.
Came into the game saying Devon Achane has to carry it at least 20 times today. That was his 19th.
Miami's offense, 30 points last week, 6 the week before, 34 the week before that, 6 the week before that. Achane, 4.8 or better in 7 of 10 games against a Washington defense that just gave up 142 yards on 9.5 a carry, 2 TDs to Jahmyr Gibbs, plus 71 yards to David Montgomery on 4.5 a run.
Gibbs takes it all the way.
226 rush yards allowed overall, 6 red zone trips allowed, let Detroit convert 4 of them. Not like they played the pass well either, 3 touchdowns, no picks versus Jared Goff, 25 of 33 passing, 320 yards, a 135 rate allowed, not a single sack. They are trying to bounce back from a defensive meltdown.
Goff on the slant to St. Brown. He is in for a Lions touchdown.
Seems like something Tua could work with. Tagovailoa not sacked once by Buffalo's pass rush that had obliterated KC the week before. 15 of 21 passing, over 8 yards per attempt, 2 TDs.
Tua looking deep, taking a deep shot. He's got Waddle down there. Touchdown!
But yeah, 2 picks, which put him in the pick lead for the year.
Tua taking a deep shot, looking for Waddle. 2 men down there, and it is picked off.
Washington's DBs last week, 50-plus yards allowed to tight end Sam Laporta, 50-plus yards and a touchdown allowed to Amon-Ra St. Brown, 110-plus yards and a TD allowed to Jameson Williams. Now they get the Penguin, Jalen Waddle. He waddled and had 84 yards last week.
He wanted to play with conviction. This is conviction. Trusting his guy, Jalen Waddle.
That's 80-plus yards in 5 of his last 6. Him and Achane, Miami's only real source of offense. Devon good for 200-plus scrimmage yards in that win. Caught 6 passes for over 50 yards, too.
To Achane. Couple of blockers ahead. Achane still going.
Miami's offense not the only unit flexing for them. Finn's defense, which has struggled to keep points off the board, have struggled against quarterbacks, held Buffalo's elite offense to 13 points, picked off Josh Allen once, forced and recovered a fumble against him.
Carrying defenders with him, lost the football!
Still gave up 2 TDs and over 300 yards to him, but a lot of that production came when they had the game in hand. They sacked him 3 times, better than their season average.
Disrupts you as a pass rusher, but that one right there, Bradley Chubb got the upper hand.
Now they try and chase down Marcus Mariota. He only took 2 sacks to Detroit, and he did throw for a couple TDs, didn't get picked off. 16 of 22 passing, 9.7 per attempt, a fat 133 rate.
Mariota, touchdown to the tight end, Ben Sinnott.
And it was kind of like a tree falling in a forest in that blowout loss. They went 2 for 10 on 3rd down, 22 points under the productive day at work threshold.
2nd down and 10. Mariota. Pass incomplete.
The playmakers on their side, Deebo Samuel scored 29 yards. Tight end Zach Ertz with 54 yards.
Rolling right. And then he throws out. It's caught.
And newbie Treylon Burks led the team with 58 yards.
Catch is made in Lions territory for a first down.
Terry McLaurin out again, and their run game out again. Their lead rusher, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 30 yards, 2.7 per try. Dolphins also come in with momentum against the run, held the league's top rusher in yards per carry and yards per game to 4.1 a carry, under 60 yards.
Or they give it to Cook, who is taken down by Jordan Brooks.
Washington and Miami have met up 16 times. The very first, the 1972 season. What a way to kick things off.
The probing eye of a nation focused in on a 9-inch strip of Coliseum turf, control of which would determine the game's outcome. In the first quarter, the confrontation was no contest as up and down the line the Dolphins took root and controlled scrimmage. The heart and soul of Washington ground power, Larry Brown, was confronted with a wall of red, his own blockers forming the barrier. Washington's powder blue Sunday was now backlit with failure, while Miami's year of doubt had ended in the sun. Don Shula had wiped clean a clouded past. His team had established an incredible precedent for the future. Don Shula and the Miami Dolphins, undefeated champions of the world.
Green Bay travels to Jersey this week, where they will see a sign that says under new management, the Giants welcoming the Packers, this year's Mr. Robot Jekyll and Hyde Team of the Year candidate. Who exactly are you?
Here we go. Snap was low and the kick no chance.
Packers on a 2-game losing streak. Their offense only capable of scraping together 7 points versus Philadelphia after losing to Carolina in a game where they only scored 13. They've scored 27-plus points 6 times this season, or they black out and can't score 14, which they've done 3 times now.
Love gonna air it out for Watson. It's not there.
Tied to Green Bay's offensive shortcomings, Jordan Love's sub-90 rate games. He's had 3, each in those 3 losses. A 68 rating versus Philadelphia, under 5 yards per attempt, 176 yards.
Here he is at the bottom. You're going to see the coverage. I mean, he's just stuck right on him.
So what is he looking at with New York's pass defense? Despite the rave reviews Caleb Williams is getting for his comeback heroics, it's not that New York's secondary got torched by him. They held him to 220 yards and a low 80s rate.
Williams under pressure. Williams got away, throws incomplete.
Giants defense let the Bears convert 3 of 4 red zone chances, gave up 24 points to Chicago, but they're giving up 27 points per game on the year, so it was a goodish day for them. 3 for 11 on 3rd down.
3rd and short, wide handoff to Swift, who's dropped in the backfield.
Brian Burns finally didn't make it home. Giants didn't sack Caleb once. He really pulled some Houdini acts on them, which led to 63 Williams rush yards, the last batch on the game-winning TD.
Look at the block. That's what springs Caleb Williams untouched into the end zone.
Love threw 36 times, got sacked 3 times. That's the second most he's taken all year, but he did take 5 when they lost to Cleveland, so it can be part of it.
4-man rush here on Jordan Love. He had one in the flat. He could have taken it.
Giants secondary gave up 50-plus yards to 2 rookies, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, gave up a touchdown and 80-plus yards to Roma Dunze. Only 1 Packer had 40-plus yards in their loss to Philadelphia. Christian Watson caught 2 passes for 45 yards.
He's got Watson. And there is that first down.
Dontavian Wicks was most targeted 9 times, just 38 yards. Romeo Doubs only 5 yards. Josh Jacobs, the only real source of offense, he scored with 74 rush yards.
Jacobs bends it back and fights his way for the touchdown.
He's a Bob Ross fan, visited the paint 6 straight games and 8 of 9. So why not load up on him? Giants have been a welcome mat to runners all year. No different week 10, 171 rush yards allowed to the Bears. Williams gashed them, and they couldn't handle DeAndre Swift. No team is allowing more than their 5.5 yards per carry to runners.
He's got a hole to show it off right here. Gallops his way into the secondary.
However Green Bay plays it, more offense, because the defense more than did its job versus Philadelphia, held Carolina to 16 and Philadelphia to 10, and came out with losses. Only let Philadelphia inside the 20 once.
7 seconds left, but there's life for Green Bay. They've got good field position.
Their secondary held Jalen Hurts to 183 yards, just 1 touchdown.
And yet here he comes. He dives in and lays out and makes a play on the football.
Will they face Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson? Word early this week, wait and see. Outcome last week would have been different if Dart hadn't left. He had thrown for over 240 yards, over 8 yards per attempt, a rating over 90. He's had a 90-plus rate 6 of 7 starts. Remarkable for the big picture he's part of.
Hey, it's a naked boot and wide open space for Jackson Dart.
While the Giants' offense was on pace for a solid-ish point total versus Chicago, they ended with 20, weren't good on third down, 5 for 14, or in the red zone, 1 for 4.
Jackson Dart puts it on the ground and Chicago gets the takeaway it desperately needed.
Dart took 2 sacks, Wilson took 2. They've taken 4+ sacks in 3 of their last 4 games.
Wilson chased. Montez Sweat gets there.
Dart's rush game is one of the best parts of watching him play. Yeah, he lost the fumble when he got hurt, but 66 yards, 2 TDs along the ground, has a touchdown in 6 of his 7 starts, has 1 in 5 straight.
Clearly emphasized.
He's got it right here, and he's got another touchdown. Jackson Dart from 24 yards.
Giants offense got a nice outing from Tyrone Tracy. He was good for them last year. He got hurt and then Scadaboo took over. He hit for 5.1 per carry, gave him 71 yards last week.
And now Tracy comes in for him, runs hard across the 20. He's got a first down.
It was one of the worst run defenses of 2025 that he faced. The Packers held Saquon Barkley to 60 yards, 2.7 a run.
He stunts and comes underneath it, and so we've seen that from both sides.
Cheese DBs gave up 40-plus receiving yards to Saquon, 40-plus to tight end Dallas Goedert, the big TD allowed to Devontae Smith, 4 Giants pass catchers with 50-plus receiving yards versus the Bears. Darius Slayton led them with 89. He's had 60-plus yards back-to-back games. Got all Matrix-like with one of his catches last week.
Dart's throw is caught by Slayton. One-handed catch from Darius Slayton.
Tight end Theo Johnson had a season-high 75 yards on 7 catches.
Now he wants Johnson down the seam, and he's got him again.
Wan'Dale Robinson, the most targets, 6 receptions, 62 yards.
In rhythm finds Robinson, breaks a tackle, and gets 17 yards.
And running back Devin Singletary escaped for a 41-yard reception.
Stayed alive and got a first down. He's still going.
These are OG NFL franchises. Giants beat the Packers 6-0 in their first ever meeting back in 1928. Roll the clip. No clip? Like Stewie, I thought we had a clip. Okay, how about the time they put up 82 combined points then? We have 1971 at least, right?
The season began with a Sunday shootout with the arch-rival Green Bay Packers, and the game immediately revealed its high-scoring character as Green Bay's Ken Ellis streaked 100 yards with a missed field goal. But number 84, reserve Rich Houston, was the man who stole the show. With regular receivers Bob Tucker and Don Herman hobbled by injuries, Houston took up the slack, hauling in 6 passes for 151 yards. and scoring 3 touchdowns, 1 an 80-yarder. Houston's performance was typical of the spirit provided by Giant reserves in 1971. The explosive Giant offense was complemented by the roughhouse tactics of the New York defense. Twice, the defenders recovered fumbles for touchdowns. And in the final moments of the game, linebacker Jim Files' interception shut off the Packers' last hope. On opening day, the Giants staged one of their most explosive offensive shows as they edged Green Bay 42-40.
Cleveland Browns are home for Week 11. They've lost 5 of their last 6 now, facing Baltimore again, who roll in on a 3-game win streak. The Ravens now just a game away from being back to even Steven.
Here's Jackson. Floats it over the middle. Back to get it to Zay Flowers, and he turns upfield.
Thumbnail recap of round 1 between these two. It was back in week 2. Joe Flacco was at the helm for the Browns. Apparently wasn't his shade of orange. Ravens thumped Cleveland 41-17. Lamar with 4 TD passes. Everything seemed right with the Ravens.
They're going to throw it again for Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins has got it.
The Browns have since changed quarterbacks, but the trajectory of their season has not changed. Ravens' season nosedived soon after, but they're in the middle of trying to find their way back. Their defense is at the forefront of their revival. They had given up 37 to 44 points weeks 3 to 5. Since then, they've held every team they've played under 20 points after putting the clamps on Minnesota last week and keeping them to 19, 3 for 14 on third down.
Then it's intercepted. Picked off by Malachi Starks. His first career interception.
They picked off J.J. McCarthy twice, held him under 6 yards per attempt to a sub-55 rating.
Down the middle, Jefferson and Humphrey get tangled up, and it's an interception by Marlon Humphrey.
Ravens secondary gave up a 120 rate weeks 3 to 7. They've held quarterbacks to a 67 rate, 1 touchdown against 4 picks in their last 3 games. And now here comes a Browns team that has scored 21-plus points just once all year. Only 20 last week versus a Jets defense that traded away its best 2 players, 6 for 16 on third down.
And this one is going to fall incomplete, and another 3 and out for the Browns.
They do get Dylan Gabriel off what is considered a good game for him. 2 touchdowns, no picks, a rate near 90 at least.
To the end zone, and it is caught. Jerry Jeudy. Well, this is a gorgeous throw by Gabriel.
17 of 32 passing equals a 53% completion rate for 167 yards at a lowly 5.2 yards per attempt. So good is a relative term here. And he lost 47 yards on 6 sacks, so Ravens looking at a dude who managed just 120 net passing yards.
Gabriel going for it all to the back corner of the end zone looking for Cedric Tillman.
Baltimore's pass rush hasn't produced a ton of bags. Only 1 sack of McCarthy, but they hit him 12 times. That's a lot of hits that could turn into sacks versus Cleveland.
Travis Jones with some heat in there on McCarthy as he threw it.
Ravens secondary did give up 124 yards and a TD to Jalen Naylor in their win, but they held JJ to 37 yards, Jordan Addison to 35, TJ Hawkinson to 8. Gabriel has leaned on his tight ends quite a bit. One of his touchdowns last week to David Njoku, he hit Harold Fannin 4 times for 44 yards.
That one is caught. Fannin over the shoulder. Beautiful ball from Gabriel.
And for the first time in a while, Jerry Jeudy comes into a game with something to talk about. Led the team with 12 targets, hauled in half of them for a season-high 78 yards and a TD.
30 seconds and counting. Another
Nicely thrown ball.
Cleveland's rush attack, 75 yards from Quinshon Judkins, just 3.4 a carry, but they racked 158 yards total down low on 4.9 a carry, thanks in large part to Gabriel scrambling for 54 yards on over 10 a pop.
Gabriel again's going to tuck it away. He's got a first down.
Baltimore gave up 48 yards on 5 McCarthy attempts, 5.2 a run to Aaron Jones, 47 yards, 6.3 per try to Jordan Mason, so stopping the run wasn't a strong suit week 10.
Jones into the secondary.
Their play versus the run really didn't hurt them, and Cleveland's rush game didn't get them a win. But since we're talking legs, Lamar used his a little more last week. Jackson, 9 attempts, 36 yards, most he's tested them since returning from his hamstring injury.
Jackson, quarterback sweep, got a block, going airborne and down to the 2.
Jackson and the offense had a ho-hum game versus Minnesota. Sure, 27 points is great, and they have put up 27 plus on their 3-game win bender.
Finding Mark Andrews for the touchdown, and then 2 more on top of that.
But they were just 6 for 15 on 3rd down, 2 for 5 in the red zone. They benefited from their defense taking the ball away 3 times and 4 Tyler Loop field goals. Jackson, only 176 yards passing, just 6.1 yards per attempt and a sub-90 rate.
Jackson in some trouble, dancing away, chased now by Van Ginkel, and he'll throw this one away.
Minnesota's defense is a tough nut to crack, but so is Cleveland's. Browns' defense was not at fault for their loss to New York. Their special teams gave up 2 TDs, so they held the Jets to 13 points. They've held 4 of their last 5 opponents under 24 points at least.
Deflected at the line of scrimmage, so an ugly drive continues here for the Jets.
Their secondary held Justin Fields to just 54 yards, under 5 yards per attempt.
And it is picked right around the 40-yard line. It's Ronnie Hickman.
Yes, he only threw 11 times, and yes, it was Justin Fields, who, yes, has finished under 60 yards 4 times this year, so sure, that's going to be a lot harder to replicate versus Lamar. Still, Cleveland's DBs get to say they held every Jets pass catcher, save one, under 5 yards. That's something. And only one Raven left work last week with more than 23 yards. Rashad Bateman, 10 yards, Mark Andrews, 14, D-Hop, 16, Zay Flowers, as usual, the guy who ate a decent-sized meal, led the way again, 75 yards.
Sliding down, that ball tried to sneak out the back door on Zay Flowers, but he hangs on for 16.
Jackson only took 1 sack to Minnesota's blitz-happy bunch, has to try and dodge Myles Garrett this week. He picked up one of their 3 sacks of Fields, his 11th. No one in the NFL has more.
Boy, that is a scary sight coming around the edge.
Only guy Cleveland had trouble with last week, Breece Hall. They gave up a 42-yard TD reception to him and 83 rush yards.
Open real estate, Hall, touchdown!
Next up, Derrick Henry, 75 yards versus Minnesota. He's put up 70-plus in 4 straight, ping-ponging from 70-plus yard games and 100-plus yard games, so he's due for a C-note outing if he keeps up that pattern.
Henry behind the block of Ricard, into the secondary and a first down.
The new Browns have dominated the series with the old Browns, beat them the first 4 times in a row before Cleveland finally exacted revenge on the Art Modell Ravens in 2001.
In Week 6, the Browns sought their first ever win against their nemesis.
Back play action, looking to throw. Now pressured from behind. He's tackled. Ball is loose. The Browns have it. Play action, faking a blitz, and Gerbach throws it. He got hit. It's in the air, and it's intercepted by Dwayne Run. Steps up, fires down the middle. It's intercepted. Kicked off by Anthony Henry.
Meanwhile, the supposedly impenetrable Ravens defense looked rather ordinary.
They're going to go wide to the right. 10, 5, touchdown! Throwing long for Kevin Johnson. He's got it. Touchdown! Here's Couch. He's going to go long and deep down the left sideline. Touchdown! Rookie Quincy Morgan.
Cleveland, this win's for you.
Browns win. A long time waiting for this one.
Carolina Panthers take to the road, have to shake off major disappointment after losing to a one-win Saints team. They are in Atlanta this week, back at home after a trip to the land of the Scorpions. Not only did it sting, followed it with a 9-hour flight with no bye. At least they don't have to hear JT sing bye, bye, bye to them again.
Back to Taylor with Warren blocking. Touchdown Taylor! In Berlin, Germany, it's Taylor's game, and the Colts win in overtime.
Falcons trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, playing a team that shut them out earlier this year. This is the second meeting between the two. First one caught lots of folks by surprise. Panthers shut out Atlanta 30-0. Carolina, picking off Michael Penix twice, took one to the proverbial crib.
Penix with time is intercepted.
That's completely on Penix. 100%.
Shaw Smith-Wade takes it in.
Penix's latest outing, not much better than that one. Followed his 3-touchdown game with a 177-yard outing, 12 for 28 passing, 76 rating. Targeted Darnell Mooney 8 times, completed just one to him for 17 yards.
Just a little high and outside for Mooney, not able to make the catch right there, but that's one Michael Penix is going to want to have back. Carolina's secondary, though, didn't look great versus Tyler Shuck last week. They've been solid-ish against the pass in 2025, but gave up 280-plus yards to Shuck, 2 touchdowns, over 10 yards per attempt, which penciled out to a fat 128 rating allowed.
Goes deep down the sideline, and the catch is made, and taking it in is Chris Olave.
Their subpar play versus Shuck didn't lead to a bunch of points allowed, though. Held the Saints to 17, usually plenty low enough to win a game. Only 2 red zone trips allowed, stopped both.
Shuck is going to be sacked. A big play by the Panthers defense. Nick Scorton.
Panthers defense has held 3 of their last 4 opponents under 18 points, stacked against a Falcons offense that still put up 25 points despite Penix's play. 3 for 3 in the red zone, 23 to 25 points their last 2 outings.
And gets the handoff and gets the touchdown to tie the game.
The driving force behind the points they managed last week, their rush attack and Drake London. London, the one Falcons pass catcher with 40-plus yards last week, 104, scored. That's a touchdown in 4 of his last 5.
Penix floats it. London reaches out and holds it in. Touchdown, Drake London. The red zone machine strikes again.
On that note, Carolina's DBs gave up 104 yards and a 62-yard TD to Chris Olave. Gave up a TD and 92 yards to tight end Juwan Johnson. Atlanta's Kyle Pitts last week, 5 targets, 38 yards. Bijan Robinson, just 4 receiving yards, but he got it going on the ground for the first time since his big Buffalo game back in week 6. 84 yards versus Indy, 4.9 per carry.
And here is their top back, Bijan Robinson, with an excellent run to start Atlanta's offensive day.
Tyler Algier also comes in off a nice one. 2 scores, 57 yards, 5.2 a pop.
Here is Algier looking for the end zone and the lead. Touchdown Atlanta!
Based on Carolina's body of work against the run, Atlanta's running back duo could keep it rolling. Carolina has allowed running backs to hit at 4.8 a carry, but last week they did hold Alvin Kamara to 3.8 per attempt.
And nothing for Kamara. But he got stoned by Derek Brown.
Their front also doesn't have many sacks this season. Trevin Wallace, Nick Scorton responsible for the 2 shuck bags they picked up. Penix took a season-high 3 sacks in their loss to the Colts.
It's hit hard for the backside. That ball is out, and the Colts have it.
Penix pressured 35% of the time, average territory. Only the second time he's been sacked 3 times in a game. Not usually a problem. His counterpart, Bryce Young, only took 2 sacks versus New Orleans. Really rough outing nonetheless as well. 124 yards, a measly 5 yards per attempt, no TDs, 1 pick, a 62 rating.
Throws wanted, it's intercepted. Underthrown in the area where McMillan was.
Under 200 yards passing 8 of 9 games now. Under 5.6 per attempt, which is low to begin with, 3 straight games. He's under 6 per try for the season. 0 touchdowns in his last 2 games, a pick in each. Offense in turn, only good for 7 points last week, 3 for 9 on 3rd down.
And that's not good enough. And throwing short doesn't work for Bryce Young.
That's 4 straight games Carolina hasn't scored 17 points. Young and company do get a rattled defense. Most of the rattling took place along the ground, though. Gashed by JT in Germany. That's the movie title for Atlanta's defense last week. The game winner, one of 3 touchdowns they gave up to Jonathan Taylor, led to 31 points scored. They've now given up 24 plus 3 straight games.
Ducking inside, he is in! A touchdown for Indianapolis.
Taylor did those birds dirty. 244 yards on 7.6 a run. Atlanta gave up an 80-plus yard TD to him.
Jonathan Taylor, big run, there he goes, and Indianapolis takes the lead!
Now they get running back Hingle McCringleberry, typically Carolina's best offensive weapon.
Go Dowdle is in for a Carolina touchdown.
The fact Rico Dowdle gave him a 0-pump celebration after getting fined for 2 makes him even more legendary. He did struggle, though, finishing with 53 yards on 2.9 per carry. Was 4.6 or better the previous 5 straight. He and Tatora McMillan, once again the only sources of significant offensive production. McMillan, the only Panthers pass catcher with 40-plus yards, finished with 60-plus yards in 6 of 10 games.
Throws wide open. McMillan, first down.
Tight end Jatavian Sanders, 5 catches, 32 yards. Jalen Coker, 3 for 21. Falcons secondary gave up 42 more yards to Taylor through the air, 84 yards to Alec Pierce, 99 to tight end Tyler Warren, 255 to Daniel Jones, over 9 yards per attempt, a 100-plus rate.
Now Jones takes a shot into double coverage, end zone. It's Pierce leaping for the touchdown.
Atlanta's play versus Indy's skill set guys made you feel bad for their pass rushers, like they worked it last week. They bagged it up 7 times. That's 6-plus sacks back-to-back games. No diggity.
Jones under pressure. That ball is out. Jalen Walker recovers, and James Pierce, the other rookie linebacker, jarred it loose.
They blitzed Jones 46% of the time. They remain the blitz happiest team in the league. Bryce versus 5-plus in 2025, a 68 rate, second lowest of any qualified passer.
He tried to bail out, was brought down, a sack. That was only a 4-man front, but then they added to it.
We revisited their first ever game against each other in our first preview of these two. Atlanta won it 23-20 in OT, so Carolina's turn. Here's the first ever win over the Dirty Birds, which took place a few weeks after their first meeting.
The Falcons needed a victory to clinch a playoff spot and exploded to a 14-0 lead. When Carolina launched their most stirring comeback of the year. Trailing by 3 with 7 minutes remaining, the offense called on one more big play to take the lead.
Green down the near sideline. He's going to score. Touchdown! Touchdown! We're coming down to this. It's Atlanta ball at the Carolina 6-yard line, 4th down and goal. Gentlemen, this is what it's all about. Looking, sprints out to the near sideline. Big rush. Now he'll throw. Broken up in the end zone.
This game's over. How about number 7?
Minnesota Vikings are at home again, trying to get back to the 500 mark after dropping below it at the Ship last week. They welcome the Chicago Bears, winners of 6 of their last 7 now, after pulling out yet another win in the waning moments of the game.
Caleb Williams into the end zone, and the Bears have taken the lead.
What are we calling them? Bear believers, bear-leavers, cardiac Cubs? Block a field goal one week, recover a fumble, hit a field goal the next, hit on a long TD pass for a late win a couple weeks later, come back down 10 in the 4th quarter with a long TD run last week. They're beating teams every which way, waiting in many cases to do it at the last second.
Doing it with his arm, doing it with his feet, pretty much all of it coming here in the 4th quarter.
Chicago's 24 points last week, keeping them in the top 10 in scoring for the year. They struggled on third down, but not in the red zone, and Caleb Williams has fans swooning over his fourth quarter play versus the Giants in their most recent dramatic comeback win.
Down the stretch, you just can't play quarterback any better than what we've seen the last two possessions from Caleb Williams.
Forget the subpar-looking passing stats. Williams had to overcome lots of key dropped passes, and want to know the reason he didn't take a single sack in that win? Pulled rabbits out of his over and over again. Not sure anyone has his escapability at this point. Took off for countless first downs, running for 63 yards plus the game-winning TD.
Caleb Williams gets away from Thibodeau. First down, Chicago.
Imagine if some of those scrambles start turning into more big chunk passing plays on a regular basis. He looks like a different quarterback compared to when he first faced Minnesota. These two played back in week 1. No offensive guys for either team really stood out. J.J. McCarthy's first NFL start and win. He kind of scuffled along most of the game and then led a fourth quarter comeback, putting up 21 points in the final frame. McCarthy pulling a week 10 Caleb, taking care of business himself for the game-winning touchdown.
And the Minnesota Vikings sending fans home here at Soldier Field.
The Minnesota secondary Caleb draws this week, not at fault for their Week 10 loss to Baltimore. They held Lamar Jackson under 180 yards, a sub-90 rate on just 6.1 per attempt.
Jackson batted at the line. Andrew Van Ginkel with the deflection.
They did play the pass better than they have in 2025. Even after that performance, only a few teams allowing a higher rating, only have 3 INTs, most of their numbers against the pass in rough shape still. And they only managed to track Jackson down once in the backfield. Gave up 27 points when it was all said and done, have allowed 24 plus points in 4 straight games. As mentioned, 3 of those losses.
On the roll, back of the end zone, and it is caught with the touchdown.
Those 27 points last week, partially on their offense and special teams, turning the ball over 3 times combined, creating short fields. They stopped 3 of Baltimore's 5 red zone chances, held them to 6 for 15 on third down. 12 of their points came on field goals, held Jackson to 4 per carry on 9 rush attempts, held Derrick Henry under 4 per carry.
Third down and 3. Henry into the arms of Eric Wilson.
They've been tough enough against the run overall, which they will need to be again in this matchup. Chicago's rise in the offensive ranks tied directly to its rush attack, which is a 3-headed attack. Williams, Kyle Monangai, who scored last week, and DeAndre Swift, who led them with 80 yards on 6.2 a carry after missing the previous week hurt.
DeAndre Swift, he's got a hole to show it off right here. Gallops his way into the secondary.
Swift also saw 8 targets in the passing game, only 18 yards to show for them. DJ Moore, only 1 target, no catches. He got hurt though. So Luther Burden stepped up with 51 yards.
It's got Luther Burden, the rookie, with a first down.
Fellow rookie tight end Colston Loveland followed his monster breakout with a respectable 55-yard outing.
Williams Lofswan, he's got Loveland. Colston Loveland to the 30.
And second-year man Rome Odunze got back in the mix after being shut out Week 9, 86 yards to lead the team, his 6th touchdown of the year.
End zone wide open, Odunze for the Bears touchdown.
Minnesota's top wideout doesn't come in with the same mojo. Justin Jefferson with just 37 yards versus Baltimore on 12 targets. Jordan Addison 11 targets, 35 yards. And despite McCarthy throwing for a career-high 248 yards, he threw it 42 times to do it. Under 6 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown against 2 picks, a sub-55 rating.
Down the middle, Jefferson and Humphrey get tangled up, and it's an interception.
He only took 1 sack but was hit 12 times, so was under duress plenty, and he took 11 sacks his previous 2 starts combined.
McCarthy under pressure from that defense, and down he goes.
Montez Sweat, still the primary bag man for Chicago's passing attack, 1.5 sacks last week, running his streak there to 4 games. They had 4 total, though. That's back-to-back games with 3+ for a team that didn't have many early on, so their pass rush may be awakening from hibernation. Newcomer C.J. Gardner-Johnson blitzed his way to a pair versus the G-men.
You have the widest rusher, that's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You just can't let him be untouched.
Their defense did have trouble with Jackson Dart some, though. Maybe they got lucky he left hurt. Gave up 240+ yards to him, over 8 yards per attempt.
Dart's got time. Perfect toss for Slayton. touch pass over the top.
Bears DBs gave up 53 yards receiving to running back Devin Singletary, bulk on a 41-yard play, 62 yards allowed to Wan'Dale Robinson, 75 yards to tight end Theo Johnson, 89 to Darius Slayton. Jalen Naylor, the one Minnesota pass catcher to have a big game versus the Ravens, he scored 124 yards.
Reaching out, he got his feet in, it's a touchdown!
Along the ground, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason each hit at 5.2 or better, neither with many attempts though. McCarthy led Minnesota with 48 rush yards, 9.6 per scamper.
And McCarthy will run, breaks one tackle, breaks a second.
He gets a Bears defense that just struggled with quarterback runs. They didn't contain Dart on the ground either. 2 touchdowns, 66 yards. Lucky they got that fumble from him. And they didn't fare great versus Tyrone Tracy, giving up 71 yards to him on over 5 per attempt. Allowed close to 170 rush yards when the game was over, and they have not played the run great in 2025.
Theo Johnson's going to pull, and there's no one even for Theo Johnson to block.
Purple People Eaters have won 8 of the last 9 over the Monsters of the Midway. One playoff meeting ever between them, 1994 season.
Hand off Tillman off the right side of the end zone, and touchdown! Warren Moon looks it over and he takes it straight back to Ho. Moon over the middle through the hands of the receiver, intercepted by Barry Mentor. Takes, bootleg, rolling right, throws the right side of the end zone. He's got a man, touchdown!
This Bear team believes they can beat the Vikings. They came in here knowing they could win. They've got all the confidence in the world right now.
The Bears came in here to Minneapolis and thoroughly thrashed the NFC Central Division champion Minnesota Vikings.
Cincinnati Bengals on the road this week after a week off. Good timing. Their offense needed some time away from their defense. They are in Pittsburgh for round 2 with the Steelers, who have lost 3 of their last 4 after leaving LA with another L.
3 and 4, Rodgers out of the end zone in a little bit of trouble. Dancing away from Mack, he lost the football. Back on it for a safety.
These two just faced off a few weeks back, so this is Icy Hot Bowl, the sequel. That was sort of the birth of Joe Calm. Flacco throwing for 340 plus yards, 3 TDs in his second game in stripes. Bengals offense blowing up for 33 points, their season high at the time.
He's got the eyes of just a locked-in quarterback looking for an answer, and there's the intensity.
Bengals defense did everything to try and give that one away, like Aaron Rodgers looked to have pulled his own late comeback off with a vintage Rodgers bomb. His latest outing, just a bomb. Rodgers got picked off twice in LA, just 5.2 yards per attempt, 16 of 31 passing, only 161 yards, a 50 rate. Worst he's looked in black and gold.
Swinging downfield for DK Metcalf, missed him by a half step. Oh, Aaron's eyes got wide.
Pittsburgh went 2 for 11 on 3rd down versus the Chargers. Only 1 trip to the red zone, just 10 points, 3 turnovers.
The inside throw off the hands of Calvin Austin and into the hands of the Chargers. The Chargers have intercepted Rodgers twice tonight.
They had been good for 25-plus points their previous 3 games. One of those, their loss to Cincinnati, in which they scored 31, who then gave up 39 and then 47. So bad they got scored on during the bye, I think. They are last in points per game this year at 33 per, 31st on 3rd down, giving up the most attempts inside the 20 and not good when teams reach it.
3rd and goal, Bengals rush 4 to the end zone. Loveland.
Oscar the Grouch is on line 1. He's complaining about the smell coming from Cincinnati's defense. Bengals D far and away the worst in the game this year, which says a lot with the Dallas Cowboys in the running. 104 rate allowed, giving up 260 yards passing per game. Most TD passes allowed, close to 12 yards per completion allowed.
Bangs off his man. He's going to score. In a a jaw-dropper.
Trey Hendrickson, 4 sacks, has been hurt. Rest of the team, 9. And the final feather in the dumpster fire that has been their defensive play in 2025, giving up more rush yards per game than any team, allowing backs 5.5 a carry.
Sensational right from the start. Manungai unleashed again.
So, they in theory are the cowbell to Pittsburgh's offensive fever. Jaylen Warren had a huge game versus Cincinnati and was the lone Steeler playmaker to amass more than 35 yards last week. Not a single pass catcher did. Warren had over 90 scrimmage yards though, 70 rush yards on 5 a carry.
Jaylen Warren trying to get it started. Oh, what a leap by Warren! Oh, baby, what a play! Woo!
And now the but. Cincinnati's offense has gotten even better since they first beat Pittsburgh. 33 points, 38, and then 42 with Flacco at the wheel their last 3 straight.
Flacco to the end zone. It's Fant for the touchdown.
Flacco with 100-plus rate games in those 3, 12 TDs against 2 INTs. In his 4 games as a Bengal, as good as any Joe has looked for them. Sort of.
Flacco, perfect touch on it, and he gets it to Yosivash.
Pittsburgh's defense has played better ball since giving up 35 to Green Bay, which came the week after they struggled with Flacco and company, held the Colts' top-scoring offense to 20. They gave up 23 to the Chargers, 2 points came on a Rodgers safety, 9 came on field goals. They held them to 6 for 17 on 3rd down.
Steelers bring 5. Herbert lays it up there for Gadsden, who wasn't looking for it.
He's getting hit from everywhere. This is great.
They held Justin Herbert under 7 yards per attempt to a 90 rate, only 1 touchdown, and took him down 5 times on 33 pass attempts. Keanu Benton, Nick Herbig, TJ Watt, 1 each. Alex Highsmith with a pair. Those last 3, 5.5 to 6 bags on the year.
3rd and long, Herbert with Watt waiting, and he's got him. So TJ.
They got to Flacco twice in their previous meeting, but he hasn't dealt with too much pressure, only sacked 7 times in 4 games.
Flacco put some velocity on it. Chase, open field, Chase.
Nothing complicated about his strategy when he's upright. Throw it to Chase and Higgins. Only 2 guys on the team with more than 28 yards per game. Jamar with 8 catches a game, 92 yards per contest, 5 touchdowns.
Flacco to Chase. Goes such a high standard for himself.
T, 53 yards per game, touched it down 6 times.
Flacco puts some air under it far side. Higgins! Just crazy catch!
Noah Fant, 27 yards per game. Andre Yoshivas, 26. Pittsburgh's corners gave up 42 yards to Quentin Johnston, 107 yards and a touchdown to McLovin. McConkey breaking off a 58-yarder late. They played running back Kamani Vidal tough, though. 95 yards, but on 25 carries, so under 4 per attempt.
Vidal not going anywhere that time.
They get Chase Brown again this week. 20 receiving yards per game, along with 46 rushing yards per game, only 3.9 yards per carry so far, but one of his 2 big outings did come against Pittsburgh.
Big hole here, and this running game, which was non-existent, is on fire tonight.
1976. Their steel curtain defense showing the Bengals their offense wasn't needed in what is the lowest scoring game in a Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game ever.
That was the matter of a snowy evening in Cincinnati. The Bengals still led the division by 1 game, but in this surreal setting, neither team could find its way. This was a game that the ground crew could win. Chuck Noll simply asked them for 1 touchdown. With a 7-3 triumph over the Bengals, Pittsburgh stayed in the race and laughed in nature's face.
Tennessee Titans at home after a week of R&R, fans getting the Lumen job done on them so they can keep coming to games to see a one-win team. So maybe they won't remember when they go home that they saw the Houston Texans come to town, who are very much alive and kicking in 2025.
He's sacked, and it's over! What a way to end it!
Wow.
So, despite Houston giving up 29 points to Jacksonville last week, they remain number 1 in points per game allowed for 2025, which sets them up for a game between the team last in scoring and the number 1 scoring defense, which when they've met in Week 10 or later, the top D team has won the last 16 straight games.
He's hit hard and the ball is free. Getting in there and making Lawrence's life miserable.
By an average margin of 19.5 points. Tennessee just has to conjure up some 1948 Boston Yanks mojo. Yeah, the 48 Yanks, the last putrid offense, to take out the league's best defense. Philadelphia Eagles, the lone team to fall victim to that scenario. Tennessee's offense only mustering 14 points per game, have only topped 20 points once all year, and that was a 22-point outing.
0 for 4 on third downs. They do quick snap it. Pressure's coming, and Henley takes him down.
And this is round 2 of Texans-Titans. Meeting 1 took place week 4, very symbolic. Houston's defense shut out Tennessee's offense, 26-0 the final.
Finds another seam, and off the ricochet, it's intercepted.
Oh, there's more? What, so we can jam like 8 ads into a 5-minute video? I thought we would just sit back and enjoy an old clip between the two and roll the predictions page with 10 bullheads on it. Okay, fine. It says here, Cam Ward, 108 yards, a pick, a 35 rating in that loss to Houston. He has the lowest rating in the league, so hasn't gotten much better. Interceptions in 6 of his last 7 games.
They do go for it on 4th and goal. Ward to the end zone, intercepted!
And that sets up a matchup between the quarterback with the lowest rate in the NFL and the secondary holding quarterbacks to the lowest rating in the NFL. Houston's secondary held Trevor Lawrence to a 74 rating, just 158 yards picked him off.
And stepping in front for the pick, Stingley reads it perfectly.
Oh man, the pass rush sitch doesn't get better. Will Anderson on one side made it home for the 4th straight game, leads the team with 7 visits. On the other side, Danielle Hunter was missing mom, hadn't seen her in a month, made up for it with 3.5 trips to the Casa.
Danielle Hunter.
He looks like a cyborg, he plays like a cyborg.
5 sacks on just 23 pass attempts, and now they go after Ward, knows the grass the way Cheech and Chong do, face planted into it 38 times. No one has taken more sacks.
Caught from behind, and Danielle Hunter off the blind side.
Texans DBs gave up 41 yards to Jacoby Myers. He was the high. Tennessee's top receiver in 2025, under 3 receptions per game. A dude who's only played 6 games, Calvin Ridley, averaging 48 per contest.
As Ward fires, Calvin Ridley makes the catch, takes it out to midfield.
Pollard and Spears, their backfield duo. Tajay more efficient than Tony at 5.1 a carry. Pollard used more at 53 yards per game.
Pollard hit in the backfield. He keeps his bearings, though, and then pounds his way to midfield.
Against a top 5 team at stopping backs, held Travis Etienne, hitting at 5 a carry before meeting up with Houston to 3.6 a run.
Danielle Hunter just blows up this play deep in the backfield before it has a chance to get going.
So it seems to be there's pressure on Tennessee's defense to keep it a low-scoring affair. By their own merits, that could be difficult, giving up 28 a game.
Now heads toward the end zone, slides in safely.
Secondary has been second to lots of teams, allowing over 70% of passes to be completed, giving up a 104 rate, close to 8 yards per attempt. If you don't know, those are not good.
Going to the end zone for Johnston. He's got it.
Do they get C.J. Stroud this week? He missed last week with a concussion, or Davis Mills. Does it matter? Mills led a dramatic late-game comeback win, throwing for over 290 yards, 2 TDs, plus he ran in the game winner.
Gonna run, looking for the pylon. He's got the angle.
Houston's offense putting up 30 points of the 36 they scored, the second most they've put up in 2025. 10 for 15 on third down, 4 for 5 in the red zone.
They've overcome a couple of their boogeymen so far today. They scored on the goal line here. They're getting in the red zone.
Tennessee's front does at least have decent pass rush numbers, but they also just said bye Felicia to Draymond Jones. But 22 sacks isn't bad, so I say show us a sack. We have to find some silver linings in this playbook.
He's under pressure again. He's sacked again.
Jihad Ward eats him for lunch.
Mills only took 2 sacks on 45 pass attempts. They can't complain. Mills found Jalen Knoll for 35 yards, Jaden Higgins for 42.
Pocket holds up. Mills to the end zone. Higgins has got it for the touchdown.
Higgins with 7 targets, Dalton Schultz and Nico Collins with 11 and 15 respectively. Collins 136 yards to lead the way, broke off a 54-yarder.
Throw downfield. Crowd is down there. Catch is made. Nico Collins.
And Schultz, 7 catches, 53 yards and a touchdown. He's warmed up their last 5.
Hooks a pass. Back in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown.
Dalton Schultz and Nico Collins with 12 and 15 respectively. Houston's inconsistent run game could find some traction versus Tennessee's run defense, which has given up over 140 yards a game, 4.9 yards per carry allowed to running backs specifically.
Here's Genty, cuts to the outside, has a first down and more.
Houston has their Woody Chubb combo meal. Have to be 18 or older to purchase, I think. Nick just 5 carries versus Jacksonville, but how about 47 yards on 9.4 per? Marks, 14 attempts, 63 yards, 4.5 a run. He scored.
Huge hole.
Woody Marks! He cut it to the second level and beyond.
Okay, now that you've clicked skip 7 times, we come to the history lesson between Houston and Tennessee before we get to the predictions. I really hope I can talk Adam Rank into taking Tennessee. Houston has won 5 of their last 6 over Tennessee. They are now 1 win away from tying the series all time. We hit on their highest scoring matchup from 2007 in our first preview of these two a few weeks back. Tennessee took it. They took the first 5 games they played them, actually. 2004, the first time Houston got revenge against the team that abandoned their city.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coliseum in Nashville. It'll be David Carr versus Steve McNair.
Carr under pressure, hit, fumbles.
Both offenses were sloppy. David Carr lost a fumble and threw an interception. Steve McNair felt the pressure as well, and he tossed 4 costly interceptions.
Make or break right here.
It's now or never for the Tennessee Titans. 4th down and 2 at the Houston 4. McNair gets the snap, hit as he throws, intercepted, taken by Coleman, brings it out of the end zone and slides across the 10-yard line, and that's going to do it. The Texans are going to take down Tennessee.
Kansas City Chiefs hit the road after a week off to recalibrate. They take on the team they're trying to catch up to in the standings, which makes this a huge chance for the Denver Broncos to put a Ted Nugent stranglehold on the AFC West, kind of like the one they just put on the Raiders offense last week.
Waiting, looking, hit from behind, down he goes at the 43-yard line.
Let's start with this. Will Patrick Mahomes have enough time to do his thing? He just had one of his worst games of 2025, and it was in large part the result of being under duress all game. Denver's pass rush, bag monsters, shared a Geno sixer last week en route to holding the Raiders to 7 points, 6 sacks on just 26 pass attempts.
Away they go, and Smith's going to get sacked. Worst of all outcomes.
No team even close to as many QB takedowns as they have. Highest pressure rate in the league, too. Zach Allen picked up his 6th. Nick Bonito, 1.5 to up his team-leading total to 9.5. He's so pretty.
Right on cue. Nick Bonito. They come at you from every direction.
Kansas City's pass protection, good if you look at their 2025 numbers. But in their loss to Buffalo before their break, Mahomes was pressured 52% of his dropbacks. For perspective, the NFL average is 34%. And Buffalo barely blitzed him, put him down 3 times.
3rd and 16. And Mahomes
Mahomes is going down.
Left tackle Jalen Moore was part of the problem, gave up a hefty 18% pressure rate, so the return of Josh Smith is big, but no one is taking right tackle Juwan Taylor's place, and he was abused by Joey Bosa all game, gave up a whopping 28.6% pressure rate.
Watch Bosa at the bottom of your screen right here, and Mahomes knows he's coming, so he has to throw it earlier.
Guard Trey Smith gave up a 13% pressure rate and 5 pressures, so also looking to rebound. Denver probably doesn't back off the ballroom blitz either. They are a team that likes to send extra QB hunters. 3 of Mahomes' 5 interceptions this season have come against 5+ pass rushers. His rating versus extra hunters, 83.8, 15 points lower than his 98 season rate.
In the double coverage, and it's picked off.
Interceptions happen because of Bosa with the pressure.
Mahomes has thrown for 250+ yards in 6 straight. He and Kansas City's offense have solid numbers overall, 26 points per game, very few turnovers, solid on third down, plenty of chances inside the 20, cashing them in at a healthy rate.
Looks left, throws left, and it is caught for his second touchdown of the game.
Kansas City has played 2 teams whose defense is holding teams to 21 points per game or less, Buffalo and the Chargers, just 21 points in each. Denver's defense holding teams to 17. Hardest team to move the chains against, held Vegas to 4 for 15, only allowed them inside the 20 once.
Smith over the middle, in the air, deflected and intercepted.
They're holding quarterbacks to a nice low 78 rating. No issues with Geno. Held him to a 60 rate, off 143 yards, no TDs, 1 pick, only a measly 5.5 yards per attempt.
Smith backing up, checks it down, juggled.
Patrick Surtain missed their Vegas bout hurt. If he's healthy, look for him to chase around Rashee Rice plenty. Rice is Mahomes' go-to since returning, has 3 games under his belt, 3 scores, 6 catches a game, 71 yards per game.
Rice is going to take the snap and keep it. Untouched for the touchdown.
They have Xavier Worthy. He's been good for 36 per game. Tyquan Thornton, 34. Hollywood Brown, 43 per rodeo, 4 touchdowns.
Mahomes down the middle, and he's got him. Hollywood for the touchdown.
And the Broncos DBs have to have their chainsaws handy this week. They cut down Brock Bowers to the tune of just 33 yards. Travis Kelce up next, 3 touchdowns, 60 yards per outing.
This is just the backyard football of 2 Hall of Famers.
Kansas City's ground game. Kareem Hunt, lead back. He's their jab. Not very many knockout punches, but they wear teams down with him. Mahomes has been their most efficient runner, 31 rush yards per game, over 6 per carry, a first down machine.
Mahomes keeps, goes, touchdown Kansas City.
Orange Crush 3.0, holding runners to 3.6 a carry. It's an ironclad unit. Held Ashton Genty to 3.2 an attempt last week.
And they give it to him, and he's tackled immediately.
Yeah, get used to seeing that.
The case can be made for this game being a slogfest again. Bo Nix and company were along for the ride last week. Denver's offense only mustered 10 points versus a Raiders defense, allowing over 25 a game prior to their matchup. 5 for 15 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone.
Nix all the way downfield into traffic, and it's going to be picked off.
Broncos fewer than 19 points back-to-back weeks, taking on a Kansas City defense holding teams to 17 a game, same as Denver's.
This is 4th and 2 here. Allen with time, fires it, and it's incomplete. Nice job breaking it up.
What's strange is Kansas City hasn't been great on third down or in the red zone. Not a ton of takeaways. They have a middle-of-the-pack pass rush at best. Aren't playing the run great, allowing over 70% of passes to be completed, giving up a 93 rate to quarterbacks.
And Allen throws wide open. It's Kincaid and a Buffalo touchdown.
But they haven't allowed teams to make it to their 20 very often. They're top of the charts in yards per catch allowed, so keeping things in front of them most of the time. Trent McDuffie holding his targets to a sub-80 rate, Jalen Watson the same.
Wilson scanning, flying for neighbors in the end zone. It's intercepted.
Nix comes off a dud showing. Touchdown against 2 picks, 150 yards, crummy 57% completion rate, 54 rating.
Pass is intercepted.
Right through the hands.
Under 6.3 yards per attempt in 5 of his last 6 now. His play has been all over the map as of late. An interception in his last 3 games. Only took 1 sack against the Raiders. It's rarely been an issue. Hasn't taken 3 sacks in a game yet. Kansas City's pass rush, 20 sacks after 9 games, 5 of them thanks to George Karlaftis.
3rd and 4. He's got time now trying to use his legs, and he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
The pass catcher is tight end Evan Ingram, 5 targets versus Vegas, 12 yards. Cortland Sutton, 4 targets, only 24 yards. Troy Franklin has led the team in targets back-to-back games, 9 last week, 40 yards and a score to show for them.
Into the end zone for the touchdown, Troy Franklin.
Pat Bryant, the only other Bronco with more than 40 yards last week, a 43-yard reception.
Had room to run, but instead throws caught. That's Bryant, and he'll make it a 1st down and goal.
J.K. Dobbins, their most effective option Week 10, 77 yards, 4.3 a carry. He's been their steadiest contributor week to week this season.
Flip it back, 1st down, out of bounds at the 45-yard line. J.K. Dobbins.
The Kansas City rush defense he takes on, mid versus both running backs and quarterbacks, right at or near the average mark on both fronts this season.
The toss play to Cook, not this time. What a play by Bolton.
Kansas City-Denver, one of the most underrated rivalries in the game. So many great matchups between the two. How about we go 1994? Featured a couple of schlubs at quarterback, if I remember right.
A full moon foreshadowed what would be one of the most compelling games in recent NFL history.
Montana takes the snap, back in the pocket, 5-step drop, looking for the end zone. J.J. Bird, touchdown! 9 yards deep in the end zone, and the Chiefs are within a digit. 20 seconds left in the game. Wide split in the backfield. Receivers right and left. Montana back to throw, 5-step drop, fires a slant, caught by Green. He's inside the down at the 5-yard line. First and goal to go at the 6. Montana takes the snap, back to throw. Looking right, firing a pass that leaping grab. Willie Davis, touchdown Kansas City. Willie Davis made the catch. Touchdown Montana Magic.
Jacksonville Jaguars back in Duval this week, trying to forget an epic Week 10 collapse by a score never seen before in the NFL. They've lost 3 of their last 4, hosting the LA Chargers heading in the opposite direction. Winners of 3 straight, 4 of their last 5 after laying the wood to Pittsburgh.
2nd down in the middle, high for Metcalf, intercepted.
Chargers defense week by week starting to play more the way Bolts fans expected from the start. They've held the last 3 offenses they've faced to less than 14 points. Held Pittsburgh, which had been good for 25 plus points their previous 3 games, to 10 points, 2 for 11 on 3rd down, only 1 red zone trip allowed, and they put 2 points on the board on a safety.
In a little bit of trouble, dancing away from Mackey, lost the football, back on it for a safety.
They not only took the ball away on that safety, which should count as a takeaway by the way, but they forced and recovered a fumble, picked off Aaron Rodgers twice, held him to a paltry 5.2 yards per attempt, just 161 yards, a 50 rating.
The inside throw off the hands of Calvin Austin and into the hands of the Chargers.
So Trevor Lawrence facing the secondary holding quarterbacks to the 2nd lowest rate and the 5th fewest yards per game in the league. Lawrence not really the driving force behind Jacksonville's offense, putting up 29 points on the #1 scoring defense in football. He completed less than 60% of his throws. 1 touchdown got picked off, just 158 yards, a sub-75 rate, hasn't cracked 75 3 straight games.
And stepping in front for the pick, Stingley reads it perfectly.
7 of Jacksonville's 29 points came on a punt return touchdown. Jaguars just 4 for 11 on 3rd down, turned it over twice. They haven't been able to scratch out 23 plus points in 3 of their last 4. All 3 of those games where the O sputtered, they lost. They also contributed to Houston's point total on the final play of the game as they tried to come back.
He's sacked, and it's over. What a way to end it. Wow.
Just 1 Jaguars pass catcher with 40-plus yards against Houston, newbie Jacoby Myers with 41 to lead the team.
Wide open catch made, Jacoby Myers walks the tightrope.
Parker Washington did score, led the team with 7 targets, only 33 yards. De'Ami Brown saw 1 target, no catches. No Brian Thomas Jr., who sat out with an ankle injury, not a concussion, which apparently I had last week. Lawrence, lucky to not have one after taking 5 sacks to the Texans, just 23 pass attempts.
He's hit hard and the ball is free. Getting in there and making Lawrence's life miserable.
5+ sacks taken, 3 of his last 4 outings. And now he has Khalil Mack, Bud Dupree, and Tuli Tuipulotu to contend with. Each guy made it to see Rodgers up close and personal in their win.
Trying to step up and throw, but he's chased down and sacked by Tuli Tuipulotu.
Travis Etienne scored along the ground for Jacksonville, 58 yards, only 3.6 per carry. The one guy LA didn't lock up in their win over Pittsburgh, Jaylen Warren, who went for 70 rush yards on 5 a carry.
Jaylen Warren trying to get it started. Oh, what a leap! Oh, baby, what a play!
Rush defense, a soft spot for them all year. But their defenders doing enough to make sure the 23 points their offense mustered was enough. Their O comes in off a it was enough kind of game. 23 points, Justin Herbert, 220 yards, a touchdown, no picks, a 90 rating.
Herbert throwing inside, touchdown McConkey!
Herbert just threw a rocket.
The Jaguars' defense he takes on has to try and recover from the worst collapse in franchise history, up 19 points with 1:33 to play in the third quarter against a backup quarterback operating a points-challenged offense, and they lost, gave up 30 points.
Pocket holds up, Mills to the end zone. Higgins has got it for the touchdown.
They've allowed 29+ points in 3 straight now, let Houston convert 10 of 15 third down chances, 4 of 5 red zone trips, gave up 290+ yards to Davis Mills, 2 touchdowns plus the rush TD he ran in to win it.
Gonna run, looking for the pylon. He's got the angle.
They did pick him off. They have the second most INTs this year. They held him to a sub-90 rate, under 7 yards per attempt, but only 2 sacks on 45 pass attempts. Herbert's line is riddled with injuries, which continues to show up in sacks taken. 5 more last week, back-to-back games with 5 or more taken.
You have to figure out how to block these edges. Fisk couldn't get it done. Pipkins couldn't get it done, and he just keeps running.
Jags DBs gave up 136 yards to Nico Collins, 53 yards and a touchdown to tight end Dalton Schultz. Only 2 Chargers with 20+ yards versus Pittsburgh. Oronde Gadsden cooled off to 13 yards on 6 targets. Keenan Allen just 19 yards. Quentin Johnston with 42.
Herbert quickly to Quentin Johnston. Stiff arm Johnston.
McLovin led the way with 115, a touchdown too for Ladd McConkey.
Bird throws. McConkey's got it, he's gone! Flips the field for the Chargers.
Kamani Vidal ran for 95 yards in their win, punched one in, under 4 yards per carry, but third game with 95+ yards in his last 5, has ping-ponged, so beware.
First and goal for the 2, it is Vidal to the left, into the end zone!
Maybe he puts the paddles away versus a Jacksonville defense that gave up 63 yards on 4.5 a carry to Woody Marks, plus a touchdown, 9.4 per run allowed to Nick Chubb on his 5 tries.
It's a running play to Chubb. He shreds this Jacksonville defense.
They are usually a tough team to run on, and Jacksonville got flagged 9 times for 90 yards, so another item for their honeydew list. 13 Jags-Bolts affairs since Jacksonville joined the league, met in the playoffs in 2022, first met in 2003.
Even a season in free fall can be reversed. It's really just a question of momentum, changing direction before you go splat.
Scrambling, looking downfield. Cox fires it. Caught! Touchdown Chargers!
Jimmy Smith returned from his 4-game suspension and played as if he never left. His 8 receptions included this stunning one-hander. Not that San Diego didn't have its hands full with the rest of the Jags roster.
Throws it, he's looking for Edwards. Will make the grab. Touchdown Jacksonville. Here he goes with a 50. He's going to the end zone. 40, 30, Taylor 20, 15, 10, 5, and it's a touchdown.
This is Ollie Frazier kind of stuff. Marcy versus Al, Peter versus the Chicken, Southern California versus the Northwest. Round 1. Winner sits atop the division. LA 7-2, winners of 4 straight. Seattle 7-2, winners of 4 straight. Rams come in off a 42-point outing. Hawks come in off a 44-point outing, both with elite defenses, plus a case of the jilted lover getting a chance for revenge against his ex? Like Marvin Gaye would put it, let's get it on.
Oh, baby! Most physical team wins the game, now let's go!
Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua in one corner. Yosemite Sam Darnold, saw that in the comments section last week, love it. JSN, Cooper Kupp in the other. Where do you start? Beef squatch matchups galore in this one. Let's begin with Seattle's passing attack and LA's secondary. Darnold, plenty rested as the nature of their win only had him throw 12 times versus Arizona. He completed 10 of those passes for a ridiculous 14.8 yards per attempt, a 111 rate.
And caught by Jackson Smith-Njigba. Accurate throw gets another first down.
In his last 7, only 1 sub-100 rate game. So you have a hot quarterback taking on a Rams secondary that just gave up 319 yards on 33 of 39 passing to Mac Jones. 115 rate, over 8 yards per attempt allowed.
Jones, pressure in his face, over the middle. Carr, touchdown!
They struggled with Mac twice this year, but not too many other QBs, as they're one of 9 teams holding quarterbacks under an 89 rate this season. Their defense, second in scoring at 15 points per game, gave up 26 to San Francisco, allowed them to convert 4 of 5 red zone chances.
Breaks the tackle and he's in! Touchdown, San Francisco!
Seattle's offense wasn't responsible for all 44 points last week, but they accounted for 30, making it 27-plus points in 4 of their last 5.
Hurdling, diving, touchdown!
Darnold remains the least sacked quarterback in the game. Jones threw 39 times. LA's pass rush, top 10 in sacks for 2025, didn't sack him once. So see what happens there, and have to see what LA's corners can do with Jackson Smith-Njigba. They gave up 71 yards to Juwan Jennings last week, 84 and a TD allowed to George Kittle, 66 yards given up to CMC. JSN caught a 43-yard TD, 93 yards.
And then going deep and looking inside the caught. Smith-Njigba with the grab.
Smith-Njigba, the season's first 1,000-yard receiver, 90-plus yards in 8 of his last 9 games now. And then there's Kupp, warmed up for his big reunion, 74 yards, his second highest total as a Hawk.
And here he goes with a catch and a run. Cooper Kupp breaking tackles.
Seattle's ground game. Hope they got a few days off. Seattle ended up running 46 times versus Arizona. 198 yards. Kenneth Walker, 67 of them. 4.8 a carry.
Walker on 2nd down and 8. Slithers free inside the 10.
First game in a while, Walker cracked 4 per carry. Zach Charbonnet led them with 83 yards on 5.9 per. Plus, he scored for the 6th time this year.
The Seahawks offensively were looking for some kind of spark, and Charbonnet provides it.
Rams did hold McCaffrey to 2.5 a carry, 30 yards. Did allow Brian Robinson to score and hit at 5.1 a run on his 8 attempts, but only gave up 74 rush yards total, so no big, especially when their offense was popping off for 42 points. Seattle's secondary catches Stafford on a historic run. No quarterback has ever thrown 4 TDs, 3 straight games without any INTs until Stafford did so. He connected for 4 tutties versus San Francisco, no picks, 280 yards, a triple-digit rating.
The 400th touchdown pass of Matthew Stafford's career.
Rams converted 5 of 6 red zone trips, 5 for 9 on 3rd down, 34-plus points, 3 straight games heading into this matchup.
Play action, man, wide open. He walks in. It's another Rams score.
Stacked against a defense that held Arizona to 22 points and also chipped in 14 points to the cause, Tyrese Knight with 2 forced fumbles on sacks, DeMarcus Lawrence scooping both up and taking them to the crib.
Knight knocked away again. Loose. Here comes Lawrence. Holy smokes.
The secondary Stafford is looking at gave up 2 TDs to Jacoby Brissett, no interceptions, over 250 yards allowed.
At the 9, 2nd down and goal, and that is a touchdown.
but they faced 44 pass attempts, held Brissett under 6 yards per attempt, a low 80s rate, their top 5 there. They held Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison under 40 yards. Puka and Devontae will be harder to do that to. Adams led with 75 yards and a score versus the Niners.
Stafford looking that way, throwing that way. Devontae Adams scores again.
That's at least 1 score in 3 straight games for Adams. Puka has a touchdown in 4 of his last 5 after painting it blue and yellow last week, 64 yards.
Puka Nacua doing what he does best, 4th receiving touchdown of the year.
Hawks gave up a TD and 127 yards to Trey McBride. Stafford has a tight end trio he's been leaning into. Terrence Ferguson with a 32-yard catch versus the Niners. Tyler Higbee, 33 yards on 3 catches. Colby Parkinson, 41 yards and a TD. That's a combined 114 yards.
He's doing it here with Tyler Higbee catching the pass and inside the 10.
Stafford had an easy enough time finding his guys, only 1 sack taken on 36 pass attempts. Also a hard guy to reach at home this year. The QB hunters he faces this week, though, much more dangerous than San Francisco's. Those 2 strip sacks, 2 of the 5 they racked up versus Arizona. Boye Mafe finally got on the board with his first. Leonard Williams picked up his 5th.
And being chased here, and down he goes, Leonard Williams with the pressure.
And finally, the rush matchup on this side. Seattle's defense, not stout versus Arizona's ground guys, but mainly because they let Amari DeMarcado escape for a 55-yard run. That was really it. It's still a group holding running backs to 3.4 a carry, 2nd lowest. Sets up another good one. Blake Corum gave LA 58 yards on 4.3 per, week 10. Kyron Williams comes off a 73-yard 2 TD showing, 5.2 per carry, 4.5 or better, 6 of his last 7 now.
And set for the Rams. Kyron Williams, left side. He's in! Touchdown, Los Angeles.
I know Detroit and Philadelphia is nice, but man, this deserves top billing this week. Hawks lead the Rams by 1 all time, 28-27. 2 playoff meetings, the most recent in 2021, the first back in 2004.
The Rams again rode the right arm of Mark Bulger as they jumped out to an early lead on yet another Bulger-Holt hookup. 2 plays later, Marshall Faulk put the Rams up 14-3 with his 8th career postseason touchdown. Entering the 4th, the Rams nursed a 17-13 lead.
Hasselbeck will pass again. Gonna fire, crossing route, touchdown, Darrell Jackson. Seattle 20, St. Louis 17.
4th down and 5.
This is for the ball game right here. Hasselbeck, back, steps up, unloads, caught by Bobby Ingram. No, incomplete. The Rams will get a home run.
Arizona Cardinals at home week 11 have lost 6 of their last 7 after a blowout loss to Seattle last week. Their visitors know the feeling. The San Francisco 49ers almost the exact same kind of loss to the Rams.
Stafford kills the blitz, gets it to Nacua, breaks the tackle. Puka Nacua on his feet and in.
One team lost 42-22 last week, the other 44-26. Tomato, I say, but each of these teams have different areas of concern heading into this matchup, which probably matters a little more to San Francisco at this point. At 6-4, they still have incentive to stay focused, so they'd be happy if they could get better defensive play this week. Gave up 42 points to the Rams. They went 5 for 6 in the red zone against them.
Williams is in. Touchdown, Los Angeles.
That's 3 straight games they've given up 24-plus points. I know, how are you supposed to play good defense when your arms are tied behind your back? It's a lot of B-listers out there. So not shocking they gave up 4 TD passes to Matthew Stafford, no picks, 280 yards, a 127 rate.
Tough for this 49ers defense to get a beat on anything, and they just got him in a blender right now.
Only sacked Stafford once. No team has fewer bags in 2025, so something has to give. Jacoby Brissett was dropped 5 times by Seattle last week, and here's the variance in blowouts. 2 of the sacks he took turned into fumble recovery touchdowns.
Knocked away again! man loose. Here comes Lawrence. Holy smokes! Another touchdown!
Brissett's taken 5 to 6 sacks in 3 straight games, and still 2 TDs thrown for the 4th straight game. No picks, 258 yards, that's 4 straight over 250.
Second down and goal, and caught Harrison. That is a touchdown.
Difference last week, he only completed 50% of his passes, threw 44 times for just 5.9 yards per attempt, a low 80s rate. 22 points, the fewest Arizona has scored with Brissett as starter. They did make it inside the 26 times, only converted 3 of them though, 6 for 16 on 3rd down, 2 for 5 on 4th.
4-man rush, end zone, and Harrison. Nope. Incomplete.
Niners DBs gave up 64 yards and a touchdown to Puka Nacua, 77 yards and a TD to Devontae Adams, over 100 yards to LA's tight end trio, 1 score, which brings us to Trey McBride. He could work with that after hitting Seattle with 127 yards and a TD.
Brissett to the air, 5-man rush, gets it off to McBride, breaks a tackle, and he's in. Touchdown, McBride.
McBride led the team with 13 targets. 12 went to Marvin Harrison. He scored.
Play action by Brissett. Connects with his receiver, and that's a catch. The first one today for Marvin Harrison.
Just 3 catches for 33 yards, though. Michael Wilson, 7 targets, 34 yards. Amari DeMarcado, 40 receiving yards, plus 64 rush yards, broke away for a 55-yarder.
Look at DeMarcado go!
He only got 4 carries. Bam Knight led the team with 10, just 28 yards, which is what CMC finished with basically. 12 attempts, 30 rush yards, 2.5 a carry. He just has not gotten it going as a runner most times out. San Francisco's offense still put up 26 points against the Rams. Mac Jones comes in off another good start too. 33 of 39 passing, 319 yards, over 8 yards per attempt, 3 TDs, a 115 rate.
Jones in deep trouble. Got him. Rolls away, throws. It's going to be a touchdown. Luke Farrell scores. What a play from Mac Jones.
He's played well in back-to-back games. Didn't take a sack versus LA, which is impressive with their front. Arizona's pass rush with a single sack of Sam Darnold. Only had 12 chances to get him, even though their own offense accounted for 14 points. That leaves 30 points allowed by the D.
Hurdling, diving, touchdown!
Still, though, they were down 28-0 because of those fumbles. They took the ball away 3 times, but the secondary Mac faces this week saw Darnold complete 10 of the 12 passes he threw, one a 43-yard TD to Jackson Smith-Njigba, another a 67-yard pass to Cooper Kupp. A whopping 14.8 yards per attempt allowed, gave up a 111 rate to Darnold.
With a catch and a run, Cooper Kupp breaking tackles on the way. Thompson will hold him out.
Secondary had seen better days prior to last week, and they did pick him off one of the 12 times he threw. Smith-Njigba and Kupp, the only 2 pass catchers they got burned by. Jones used the majority of his throws on 3 guys. McCaffrey saw the most targets, turned them into 66 receiving yards. That part of his game is in A-plus condition.
Throws for McCaffrey, makes the catch.
George Kittle led the team with 84 yards, his season high in 5 games played, scored for the 3rd time.
There's a man wide open. Kittle makes the catch, dives for the pylon. Is he in? They're going to check. He is. Touchdown.
Their top wideout last week, Jawan Jennings with 71 yards, second most he's had in 2025.
Jennings makes the catch. He's got a first down if it holds.
And there's Brian Robinson. He was more effective than CMC in their ground game, 8 carries, 41 yards and a TD, 5.1 a carry.
He's going to run it. Why not? He's got a little juice. Brian Robinson getting this team going and another first down.
They shouldn't be shy about turning to those 2 in this one. Arizona gave up 198 rush yards to Seattle, due to Seattle not needing to pass, of course, but they gave up 5.9 a run to Zach Charbonnet, 83 yards and a TD. Kenneth Walker got him for 4.8 a run, 67 yards. Even George Holani ran for 4.4 and a score on him.
Blocked by Lucas. The broken tackle at the 5.
Nail-biter between these 2 back in week 3. Kyler wasn't able to do much. Jones threw for 284 yards. CMC over 130 scrimmage yards. 16-15, Niners win.
Sweeps it, delivers it, and San Francisco is in first place. They win it at the Horn.
These two have played each other since 1951, a single playoff bout, 49ers up by 6 after 68 meetings. First time San Fran ever played the Phoenix Cardinals, 1988, Desert Heat got to them by the end of the game.
Back home in Sun Devil Stadium for a Week 10 confrontation against San Francisco, the world champions-to-be rolled up a shocking 23-0 lead in the third quarter before the Phoenix defense brought the 49ers to a screeching halt. Late in the third quarter, Neil Lomax got the Cardinals on the scoreboard with a touchdown pass to Roy Green. Then, following a fourth quarter field goal, Lomax passed to rookie wide receiver Ernie Jones in the end zone to bring the Cardinals within 6 at 23-17 with 2 minutes left. When Lomax got the ball again, just 1:27 remained with no timeouts left. A 25-yarder to Ernie Jones took the ball to the San Francisco 9. Lomax had already completed 24 passes for more than 300 yards. But with only 6 seconds left, all that mattered now was the final 9 yards. Roy Green's clutch catch climaxed a drive which covered 66 yards in 7 plays. The last was just 3 seconds left. In the NFL's Game of the Year, the Cardinals had shocked the once and future champions 24-23.
This was looking like Game of the Week material before Tampa Bay and Buffalo took Week 10 losses. Bucs loss, not quite as shocking since it came to a first-place team. Not sure what the Bills' excuse was.
See you later! Another touchdown for Achan! And this was just one of those ones you look at and say, what the heck just happened?
Buffalo's loss to Miami, a shocker in a season that's produced plenty of shocks. Did they just use all their energy to beat Kansas City the week before? Miami was giving up 27 points per game on defense. Buffalo's offense scoring 29 a game. Then they managed just 13 points, turned it over 3 times, 5 for 15 on third down, only 1 red zone trip.
Still going, Josh Allen carrying defenders with him, lost the football!
They've short-circuited 3 times now in their last 5 games. Josh Allen with a pick and a fumble himself, satisfied fantasy owners with 2 touchdowns and 300-plus yards at least.
Coleman adjustment, Keon Coleman, touchdown!
Still wasn't very MVP-y. It was similar to Baker. Mayfield ended his day with 3 touchdowns versus New England, 270-plus yards, a rate over 100.
Little play action. He was looking deep. Now comes to the right side. Ibuka is in for the touchdown.
He was better than his last 2 showings, but under 6.5 yards per attempt. Their offense, 5 for 13 on third down, scraped together 23 points to make it close at least.
Baker stepping up and fires. End zone, caught. Touchdown. Tez Johnson.
23 points back-to-back games, 23 or more in all but 2 games this year. Mayfield, 2 sacks taken, 43 pass attempts. They can live with it. Buffalo's pass rush he faces this week didn't sack Tua Tagovailoa once, only hit him twice, gave up 2 touchdowns to him, over 8 yards per attempt, but also picked him off twice, held him to 173 yards, a sub-90 rate.
Looking for Waddle, Hairston down there, he's got it, intercepted by Hairston.
Didn't have corners Taron Johnson or Christian Benford. They're holding quarterbacks to a nice low 84 rating, and they held Miami to 3 for 9 on third down, only allowed them inside the 20 once, but their defense still gave up 30 points, primarily because they couldn't stop Devon Achane. 174 yards, 2 long TDs given up.
Achane sneaks through. Achane, second level, turns on the Jets. Achane! Touchdown!
They also gave up 51 receiving yards to Achane, 84 and a touchdown to Jalen Waddle. Still no Chris Godwin last week for Tampa Bay. Emeka Egbuka, though, had a huge day, 115 yards and a score.
And the pass down the middle, he's there. Egbuka has a big gain.
Egbuka, 13 targets. Tight end Cade Otton, 12. He raked in 82 yards versus New England.
He's got his man. It's Otton, who's having a big game. First down at the 49.
And boy, he's having a game, and he's pumped.
Sterling Shepard, 3 catches, 20 yards. Tez Johnson, 2 scores, 42 yards.
Now flush, now throws, and it's caught for a touchdown. Tez Johnson.
The rookie has scored in 3 of his last 4 games. Along the ground, Sean Tucker made good work of his 9 attempts last week, 53 yards for a nice 5.9 per run average.
Handoff Tucker, nice little wiggle. Look at Tucker getting into the secondary.
Rashad White with more carries, just 38 yards. They're still hoping to get Bucky Irving back to crank their rush attack back up. James Cook, meantime, so integral to Buffalo's offensive recipe, 53 yards rushing, 4.1 a carry versus Miami.
Staying on his feet, great balance by James Cook.
You can't cook unless you get the ball, though. His 13 attempts, the fewest he's had since week 1. Expect him to get more handoffs versus a Bucs defense that gave up a 69-yard TD to Travion Henderson as part of a 147-yard 2 TD day.
He's got a chance to show off that speed. Henderson breaks a second one for a touchdown.
Tampa Bay's front, just one 1-yard sack of Drake May, too. It made it tough on their secondary. Allen facing a group that gave up 270 yards to May, 8.7 per attempt, 2 TDs, 1 a 72-yarder to rookie Kyle Williams.
Tony, you're right. Going down the field, they've got the big play. There he goes, running down the sideline as Williams has the touchdown.
Gave up a TD and 46 yards to Stephon Diggs, over 100 yards to Mac Hollins. But they also picked May off, held him to a sub-90 rate on 16 of 31 passing, so it wasn't all bad. 10 guys caught passes from Allen in their loss to Miami. Curtis Samuel, 1 catch, 21 yards. Terrell Shavers caught a 24-yarder. Jackson Hawes, a 26-yarder. Their tight end duo of Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, 37 yards exactly each.
And a play action, Allen, and he's got Dalton Kincaid. He's got a first down.
The 2 guys who saw the most targets, Keon Coleman, 46 yards and a score on 8 looks.
Coleman adjustment, Keon Coleman, touchdown!
Khalil Shakir led the team with 9 targets and 58 yards.
Allen completes it to Shakir.
Fire the Cannons with an 8-5 advantage against the Mafia over the years. These 2 are responsible for checking off a box in scoregami. Anyone who went to their 1988 game, you were the only fans to see the score they produced.
This was a day for the Bucs to show how far they had come. The Bucs pounded anything that moved, and their offense used deception as well as muscle.
Play fake, bootleg, Vinny will score! It's a touchdown, Buccaneers! Holy mackerel!
On 3rd down, Harry Hamilton saved a touchdown. And suddenly it was down to one big play.
Yeah, it's Riddick, and he's hit! He didn't! I don't think he got it! Nope. I believe he was stopped. He did not get up in the air, and the Bucs take over.
On the final play of this goal line stand, a young football team learned what it takes to win in the NFL.
Philadelphia Eagles at home for a big Sunday night football game. They're closer to locking up the NFC East, and we're only done with Week 10.
Here we go. Snap was low and the kick no chance. And this game belongs to Philadelphia as they win at 10-7.
They take on Detroit. Top 5 in scoring isn't good enough for the Lions, apparently. The DC Lions hit the road after dropping boxcars on Washington.
Over the middle, into the end zone. Touchdown, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Detroit head coach Dan Campbell took the offense over last week. Lions had scored 34 to 52 points weeks 2 to 5, met expectations. Then weeks 6 to 9, 3 straight games without topping 24. Last week, 44, 4 for 6 in the red zone, 5 for 10 on third down.
Goff, Williams, he's been the main target during this series, and he is in for a Lions touchdown. Jamison Williams.
Jared Goff comes in off a gem, 3 touchdowns, 320 yards, a 135 rate, 25 of 33 passing.
Goff on the slant to St. Brown. He is in for a Lions touchdown.
5 TDs, no picks in his last 2 games, a 100-plus rate game, 4 of his last 5. He also didn't take a single sack on 33 pass attempts. He had taken 4+ in back-to-back games.
Play action, block him up, and it gives Goff just enough time to throw this out to the wide receiver Jamison Williams.
They meet up with an Eagles defense responsible for their latest win, Philadelphia on a 3-game win streak. Last week, their defense holding Green Bay to 7 points, 5 for 13 on third down, only 1 trip to the red zone allowed, took the ball away a couple of times.
Jacobs is brought down, and the ball was out. Jalen Phillips.
They've held their last 3 opponents under 23 points, averaged down to 21 points per game allowed for 2025. Their passer rating allowed down to 80 after last week, 4th best, put the hurts on Love, holding Jordan to 176 yards under 5 yards per attempt, a sub-70 rate.
Extra men on the rush. Everybody coming after Love, and they couldn't complete it.
And for a team averaging less than 2 sacks a game, had a nice pass rush outing, dropping Love 3 times, hit him a healthy 8 times.
Love's in trouble. Down he goes, thrown to the ground by Jalix Hunt.
Only gave up 40-plus yards to 1 Packers pass catcher, 45 to Christian Watson. Every one of Detroit's playmakers, 8 Week 10. Jahmyr Gibbs had 30 receiving yards and scored. He hadn't been showing up in the passing game as consistently as last year.
Yeah, that is just too easy, having Jahmyr Gibbs one-on-one with the linebacker.
All 4 of Detroit's primary pass catchers had 49 or more yards. Jamison Williams popping Rex and effects in his earbuds, zoomed to 119 yards and a TD.
Jamison Williams, and Williams is up the sideline, still going.
Amon-Ra St. Brown can take a punch, 58 yards, his 8th touchdown of the year.
Goes inside, splits the 2, gets an easy touchdown.
Sam Laporta, 5 catches, 53 yards. He's been good for 53-plus yards in 4 of his last 6.
And the pass is caught for a first down by the tight end Laporta.
And Khalif Raymond filled the mosaic out with 49 yards.
Goff to a wide open Raymond, picks up another Detroit first down.
Plus, Detroit's Sonic and Knuckles show hits the game with rave reviews on its side. Gibbs blew up for 142 yards and 2 TDs, 9.5 per carry.
Which has opened up everything else, and Jahmyr Gibbs going for a touchdown.
Gibbs takes it all the way.
David Montgomery with 71 yards on 4.7 a run, 2nd most yards he's had this year.
Going for 2. Goff hands it off. Montgomery is in.
Met by an Eagles defense that held Josh Jacobs to 3.5 a carry, and they took the ball away from him once too.
Jacobs ends up losing 1. Ojomo.
Eagles have been that golfer. They par every hole, even though it seems like they hit a bad shot every hole. Their offense last week only able to muster 10 points, only made it inside the 20 once.
Ball comes out. Keyshawn Nixon has got it.
They're a group used to scoring 24 a game, taking on a Lions defense holding teams to 22 points per game for 2025. They gave up 22 points to the Commanders. How's that? Let them convert 3 red zone chances when they were at the point in the game when they felt bad for them. They held them to 2 for 10 on third down.
Third down and 5. The pass bounced away with Rock Yassin defending.
Detroit's secondary gave up 2 TDs and a 133 rate to Marcus Mariota. Didn't pick him off. A tree just fell in the woods, too. Did you hear it?
Mariota, touchdown to the tight end, Ben Sinnott.
Detroit's pass rush, 2 sacks of Mariota, a subpar showing for the team with the 4th most sacks in 2025.
Third down and 9. Mariota stays on his feet, spins, and now he's taken down by Brian Branch.
Jalen Hurts had himself an outcast game, didn't take a single sack or get hit once, with Micah and Rashawn Gary coming after him too. Jersey was so fresh and so clean afterwards.
But because the inside protection is so good, he's able to step up, picks up good yardage.
TD, no picks, 183 yards, didn't dazzle as a passer, but no picks in 3 straight, only has 1 all year. Detroit's secondary gave up a 41-yard completion to Jalen Lane, 58 yards to Treylon Burks, 54 to Zach Ertz. This week, it's A.J. Brown, 13 yards versus Green Bay. Devontae Smith, who scored and led the team with 69 yards, he's taken over as the most dangerous Eagles pass catcher.
It is caught for the touchdown, Devontae Smith.
69-plus yards in 3 straight for Smith and 4 of his last 5. Dallas Goedert chipped in 43 yards, which is basically what he chips in most games.
Slings it wide open and inside the 40 with a spinning grab is the tight end Goedert.
And Saquon with 41 receiving yards.
He finds Barkley. One-on-one and a spin move, and Barkley's still rolling into Green Bay territory and down near the 36.
60 rush yards too, so over 100 scrimmage yards, but just 2.7 yards per carry on the ground. 5th time he's been unable to crack a paltry 3.4 a run. Lions defense had no issues with Washington's run game, held him to 93 yards, 3.4 per carry. They've been strong versus the run overall too.
Let's take a look at Roy Lopez. He pushes him back into the running back, makes the play, and
Philly up 2 all-time versus Detroit. They've been going at it since 1933. 1995, the one and only time they crossed paths in the playoffs. Holy points brigade, Batman.
The Eagles would score 31 second quarter points.
He sets, he looks, he is looking for Barnett. Touchdown! Here goes Mitchell. He's setting up. He lets it go. Intercepted. It's intercepted. And running down with the football for a touchdown is Barry Wilbur. Mitchell again with a short drop. He fires. And it's
the quarter would end with one of the most extraordinary plays of the 1995 season.
Rhodes is thinking, I want another shot.
Back goes Pete. He loads up. He is floating it deep down the far side of the field. Back goes Pete. He is looping it from Waters. He's got it. 25, 20, 15, 10. Waters high steps into the end zone for a touchdown. Back goes Bukowski. He pumps. He looks. He fires. It's deflected on. Intercepted. William Thomas at the 20, at the 15, at the 10. Cuts back at the 5. William Thomas for the touchdown. And this one's history.
History was made as the Eagles finished with 58 points, a franchise record, and the most scored in an NFL playoff game in 38 years.
Dallas Cowboys hoping some rest and some new faces help them get lucky on the strip this week. They take on the Las Vegas Raiders, who just crapped out again. They stumble in on a 3-game losing streak.
The kick is over the top of the upright, but outside of it.
Raiders defense showed up to the party last week. Raiders offense nowhere to be found again. And that's been the norm most games. 7 points versus Denver, under 21 points, 4 of their last 5, 7, 0, and 6-point showings, part of that mess. Only 1 trip to the red zone last week, 4 for 15 on 3rd down.
Under pressure again. Look out from behind. Flips it, but that means next to nothing.
So what's going to give an offense averaging 15 points a game against a defense giving up 30 a game? Supposed to be different going forward, though. Cowboys swung big last week, traded for Jets DT Quinnen Williams, who has 0 sacks this year, by the way, and for Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson, who was benched by the one defense maybe worse than theirs. Those two are supposed to help them find the D Bojack stole, so teams don't eat free at Alice's restaurant anymore.
Inside Dallas territory and out of bounds near the 25.
Look down and scan the bottom of the barrel. That's where you'll see their play on third down and in the red zone. Their play versus the pass is down there too. Rating allowed, yards per game, yards per attempt, yards per completion, TD passes. It's been brutal. Corner Deron Bland, 4 touchdowns allowed, a 116 rate. Kaiir Elam, 3 touchdowns given up, a 112 rate.
Single high coverage, you're essentially one-on-one anyway, and Harrison has won that battle for sure.
Again, something's got to give. Geno Smith, second most INTs of any quarterback this season, threw his 12th versus Denver. 5 yards per attempt, just 143 yards for a 60 rating.
Just goes up and off of his hands into very favorable territory for Denver to be able to come up with a pick.
Only one Raider with more than 40 yards versus Denver. Trey Tucker, just 28. Brock Bowers, a single reception, 31 yards. Geno's reunion with Tyler Lockett produced a team-high 44 yards.
Smith on third down, throws, caught, and trying to get that first down is Tyler Lockett.
Vegas's O-line was not ready for Denver's heat. Smith sacked 6 times by the league's top pass rush. Right tackle DeMar Glaze gave up 1.5. He's now up to 6.5 sacks allowed for the year.
Down he goes at the 32-yard line. That pressure again. Allen and Benito.
Dallas's pass rush, 20 sacks over 9 games. Pressure rate higher than the league average. James Houston leads them with 3.5 QB takedowns.
Now Arizona does. They want to show run, and they think they're going to get something in the passing game, which they would have.
Quinnen, by the way, has a 12-sack year on his resume. Most years he's been like a 6-sack guy. Always tough on runners regardless, so maybe he helps keep backs from having their way against the boys the way the Soups have, allowing 4.9 a carry to Ashton Genty's position in 2025.
Here's a first down by DeMercado plus, and he's able to keep the clock running.
Genty punched in his 4th touchdown in their Week 10 loss. The whole "I'm just standing here like I'm waiting to get into a movie" thing before the snap is funny to watch. Not sure how well it's working, as he's been sub 4 yards per carry in 7 of 9 games. 3.2 a run last week.
Running game was going great guns for a while. Not lately. Not here either.
Raiders defense at least comes in strong, or off a strong outing at least. Held Denver to 10 points, 5 for 15 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone. Held Bo Nix to 150 yards, only 1 touchdown. Picked him off twice, a 54 rating, 5.4 yards per attempt.
Protection's good. Pass is intercepted.
10 points, well below their season average. 24 points per game allowed after that. Their showing versus Knicks did bring their numbers against the pass into respectable territory, but Knicks and the Broncos offense is one thing. For all of Dallas's shortcomings on defense, they have stood tall on offense. Dak, CD, Pickens, Ferguson, Javonte Williams, the driving forces behind 29 points per contest.
Now from the 5. Prescott, end zone, Flanoy, touchdown!
Prescott, 17 touchdowns against 6 INTs, close to 260 yards per game, a rating close to 100. Maybe not the best quarterback in the league stuff, but he's top 10 this year.
Prescott, Lamb got behind the defense, and there he goes.
Prescott did have back-to-back duds his last 2 games before their break, so in a little bit of a skid. Raiders average 2 sacks a game, which is what they had last week, neither a Mad Max production. Pass protection hasn't been a major problem for Dak, 15 sacks taken, so less than 2 a game, which most teams are happy with. Only pressured 30% of the time, well below the league average.
Good protection. There's Pickens again.
Raiders held every Denver pass catcher under 45 yards, held their WR1, Cortland Sutton, to 24. Dak spreads his balls pretty evenly between his 3 top pass catchers, keeps everyone happy. Lamb close to 6 catches a game, 81 yards per game.
Prescott on play action, wide open, CD Lamb. So Pickens, now Lamb.
Interesting, on throws to Lamb, Dak's rate is 84. To Pickens, 125. Makes a difference when you score more. Lamb only 1 touchdown so far. George with 6. 5.5 catches a game, 84 yards per game.
To the sideline and a first down catch by Pickens.
Jake Ferguson, also with a half dozen touchdowns, 6 catches a game, 42 yards per ride.
Over the middle, that's Ferguson. Good throw, good catch. And breaking tackles.
Raiders defense can't ignore Williams down low. Javonte is having a year. Good thing, or letting Rico walk would really stick out. 5.2 a carry, almost 80 yards per game, and a fat 8 touchdowns.
Back to the run, Javonte Williams with a big carry, rumbling down to the 5.
Vegas gave up 4.3 a run to J.K. Dobbins, 77 yards, holding running backs to 4 a carry, so not bad up front. 13 battles between the silver-domed ones. Black Hole is ahead of the Star by 1 all time, 7-6. They put on a good show the last time they played in 2021, but 1983 might have been better.
After a 2-point Raider loss in Seattle, number 6 Mark Wilson started in Dallas, and a huge national television audience saw pro sports' winningest team explode for 519 yards against the previously undefeated Cowboys. And Raider running back showed their versatility as number 32 Marcus Allen displayed multiple talents as a runner and as a receiver. And the Raider attack was complemented perfectly by tenacious fullback Frank Hawkins.
Wilson goes back with a play fake, has time. He's throwing down the right side. Hawkins, touchdown Raiders! Wilson will hold the spot. The kick, it is good at Barr with a 26-yard field goal.
Chris Barr's kick behind Shelby Jordan, Don Mosbar, Ed Moransky, and Don Hasselbeck gave the Raiders a 40-38 triumph.